Good evening. Also from the West Coast, but also from Missouri, Branson, Missouri. We have Coach Aspaas with us here today. Coach, can you walk us through your day, starting with this morning before pregame?
Yeah, we got up around 7 a.m. Well, I guess you could say 6:45. Got ready and we walked outside and got some hitting in the batting cages and got the kids to get a few swings in, relax. About maybe 7:45 we got them back in the dorm to um get ready and prep for the game, get the uniforms on, and about 9 o'clock we headed over to the field. So got a little bit more hitting in there and stretched and warmed up, and by that time game really fast.
In the uniforms, is there a difference prior to this team, being in their workout clothes and taking some practice swings and then putting that uniform on? Was there a different? Because could you tell the difference in the team at that time?
Oh yeah, definitely. You felt the kids proud, then you felt them nervous, you felt them anxious, you felt them just wanting to get the game started with, and get those pregame jitters out, so but at the same time, I think all the kids were honored to put on that Native Nations uniform and go out and play for Indian country.
Nice. And what are the coaches thinking at this time? I mean, you can't make the clock go forward. It's going to happen. How are you trying to keep them down in terms of like their energy, be ready for the game? What's that like for coaches?
Oh yeah, definitely. As coaches, we want to keep them settled down as much as we can. At the same time, give them a little advice here and there, but at the same time, I mean, let these kids be kids. Let them enjoy it. Let them figure out how to, get through a big stage like this. How to get them out of their comfort zone to, how to prep for a big game. And I thought that was, pretty good. And a lot of these kids have been, put in position to, be in a big game. But I mean, I just think just with that Native Nations uniform, it was even bigger.
Nice. And I wore my gear today, representing Native Nations myself. I know there's others around that have been participating, family that aren't able to be out there. Once the game opening pitch, it started, we were all behind you. So what's going on first inning for you, as coaching, but for you to be prepped and have your team ready? What's going on?
Oh,
Game.
first inning, man. It was, going out to the coaches meeting and trying to, you know, get the lineup going. It was excitement, and at the same time, you just want to make sure that these kids are well prepared to go out there and play baseball. And I think we had them, prepared very well. And, I think the lineup was set pretty good. And I think we put them in a good position to go out there and, win a baseball game.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the balls and strikes now. Tell us once that inning got started. I know you guys had an early lead. What inning was that, and how did that run get across?
I believe it was the second or third inning. I think it was the second. Yeah, I think it was the bottom of the second inning. We got a runner on base. But just all in all, from our defense, we're the home team, so going up there at the top of the first, going out and representing, and we had Mason Snapple on the mound, and his first pitch was a strike, and that's where you want to start. You want to start head of the count. You know, um, I think with that first pitch being a strike, I think everybody's nerves kind of went down. And then, having a a strikeout first at bat, another strikeout, and I believe he finished that first inning with three strikeouts, I think, and that right there, finishing the inning coming in, and it was very exciting, and I think the kids knew, hey, we can play baseball, let's take it to these guys, and then started the second inning was the same thing, we went out and shut them down, and we came back in, and we had Michael Jordan, take a nice at bat, getting walked, and we had Sneezy coming in, bringing him in and scoring him, and I think right there after scoring that first run, everybody was settled in, ready to play.
Was there any sense of relief, after that first inning? We're here now. We're on a national level. Is there sense of relief of scoring that first run as a coach, what feelings were going on for you?
Oh yes, it was definitely a relief. We want to make sure that 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 deep breath of just finally, we got across the plate. We scored, and from there it was baseball. Like I said, just stay locked in and just continue to keep the kids engaged and keep them up, and we took it inning by inning, pitch by pitch.
Mhm. So now we're scoring. You're in the lead. Now you're playing a little bit defense, trying to get it through, trying to score more. Obviously, as the innings unfold in the middle innings, what's going on for the team at that point?
All in the middle, and I mean we stay locked in. We're staying locked in. Like I said, Mason, he's throwing a good game. He's out there, working his tail off, and you got Joey behind the plate calling a good game. And you have a good defense. You got good defense behind them. You got Vance Aspaas at third. You got Nathaniel Benavides at short. Elias, you know, at second. With Sneezy at first. Great outfield. Nabahi in left, and Sir Prince in center, and you got Seth in right, and with all those kids, playing extremely well, baseball. It's as a pitcher, it's a relief to know you have a solid defense behind you to let you pitch your game, let you throw your game. Whether they put the ball in play or not, you got a good defense behind you to make to get plays and get outs. And I think we did that defensively. We had a really solid game.
Okay, we're getting down to the late innings. It's getting a little. There's a close game. We're coming down to the end. Um, Obviously, it's not the ending that we wanted for our first game. Can you describe what's going on at that point? In the game, late in the innings.
Late in the innings, it's by the fifth, sixth inning, you're talking about pitching changing. You want to run Mason deep into the game. He's feeling good. He's feeling it. He wants to stay in. But at the same time, as a coaching staff, you're looking at who's coming in relief. And I think baseball, your relief pitcher is more important as your starter. And make sure that we can get the game going, and keep it going and keep rolling through. But going down into the bottom of the sixth inning, or no, top of the sixth inning, we're still up 1-0. Mason's at 84 pitches. He's good to throw 10 more pitches before we have to pull him. And he wanted to go out that last top of the seventh inning, actually, to go out and finish the game. And with the pitcher's mindset like that, to go out there and want to finish, try and throw a complete game. It's a big thing. For his first start for Native Nations. We gave him that opportunity. But we had a couple mistakes in the top of the seventh to surrender that lead. As far as a drop ball at first base, a drop foul ball actually. Runners getting on. You got a guy hitting the ball pretty deep to left center, warning track, and then the next guy, comes up with a deep shot to right center, and we drop the ball there, and we pick it up, and we just chunked it into the infield, and it went over the third baseman's head and into the dugout. So
Mm.
things like that, putting yourself into a tough situation and trying to get out of it. It's very tough as a pitcher as well. And that's where we had to make that pitching change.
Okay. And I heard there was quality pitching, obviously, on the other side. What was that like for players coming back from the batter's box, talking about the pitcher?
Oh man, it was phenomenal. I mean, the game itself was phenomenal when you have two pitchers, throwing heat, having a pitching duel, who's gonna break first, who's it's very exciting. The kids were locked in, as they were, going up to bat,
Mhm.
whether they put the ball in play, whether they walk, whether they struck out, they're coming back in, hey, telling their teammates, this is what he's throwing. He's, fastball, curveball, slider. This is what he's throwing at this pitch and that pitch, So it was very exciting to watch, the other team's pitcher throw, And the funny thing is, he was one of the Pennsylvania's top max preps
Mm.
play of the year, and he was an down, a great pitcher, whether he's throwing 85 or 87, somewhere around that area.
Mhm.
You had college scouts there watching him,
Yeah.
Division I scouts scouting him. But, hopefully those scouts were looking at our boys,
Yeah.
because me and DJ were talking, and this guy, this team's coming in 12-0, easily into this tournament, just kicking butt,
Hmm.
and for them to play a team like us, Native Nations, putting them on the ropes, 1-0 throughout the game, and just one little inning, and
Yeah.
we gave up that little spark there,
Yeah, I mean, this team doesn't have 12 games in their history together, and so there's a lot of credit I want to give to you and your staff for today's game. One, just representing, like just being on the field, and we did it, and we got over that hurdle, and it started. Now baseball is playing, and then two, the credit to the players themselves. So being in a position, taking the lead
hmm
early, and then holding on, and we know baseball's, we know late innings are just that. Who are your decision makers for bullpens and to close it down and to shut it out. And so, congratulations, coach, on completing your first game. Not that hey, you're in the game, you're in the lead, but like there's so much value that you brought for having
hmm
that game today, having it in the books, and we still have more to go. So, how is it going to look for tomorrow's games? I know you have a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I was telling the kids, we gotta play 7 innings, and like I said, and like you were saying, this is our first game together as Native Nations. But baseball's a universal language, and I keep telling the kids that, we can play baseball together. We have great talent on the team. We all can, play the game of baseball very well. We all can, you know, what I like about this team is we get along great, you know
Mhm.
whether you're on the bench or you're on the field, everybody's talking, everybody's communicating, and that's what I like about it. You can give us coaches credit, but then we set the lineup and put the best players out there, and they're the ones out there performing, and all credit to them because they went out there and battled a great team. And tomorrow morning, I think 9:30 we play Puerto Rico, and they're it's not going to be an easy game. I think we're in a pool where we have very talented teams.
Mhm.
And being in the World Series like this, it's never going to be an easy game. We're always going to go
Yeah,
out and play good competition. So
yeah,
I think our kids are still locked in. And after the game, they were talking about things that they could have done better. Things that could have should have been. But it's baseball. And like I keep telling them, we just got to learn to play 7 innings, and we'll be fine.
yeah. So we do have some more games tomorrow. I appreciate you spending the time. Any acknowledgement for those? I believe there was a local tribe help came out. Was it today? Was it yesterday? Just to be, give a mention to. I believe there was a local tribe that helped us today in some ways.
Yes, the Osage. I
Yeah,
think they were the Osage tribe.
yeah.
They brought their drum group out yesterday, and they, sang a song out there in the opening ceremony, which was
Oh,
very great. I do thank them for that. DJ set it up, and this morning they sang their flag song before the game as well.
mhm.
And it was it's calming and soothing to have your own Native American tribe coming out and singing their flag song for you.
Oh,
It was a great honor.
yeah. All right, Coach. Thank you for your time today. We wish you all the best for tomorrow. Hopefully we could do a wrap up then at that time too for multiple games. But thank you for your time today. Thank you for representing Native Nations and being that the coach that leads, the manager that leads this team in their first game. And we're excited to hear about more about this tournament. So thank you for your time this evening.
Hey, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.